We're kicking off today with CM Punk, who didn't just walk away from WrestleMania with scars, but he also walked away with the emotional wreckage of Paul Heyman's betrayal. Speaking to Deadline after the match, Punk spoke about the chair shots he took during his first WrestleMania main event and shared that Paul's double cross hurt more. He said, "Heyman has betrayed me before. We've been friends for a very long time, and friends fight. Since he's betrayed me before, I know how this plays out. He knows there's receipts coming for him too. The betrayal and the mental pain, I think, are worse than the physical. I almost wish he would have done all that and stuck with Roman, because going with Seth was the real pain, but you know what? Seth needs him." Punk was on the post-WrestleMania edition of Raw, where Heyman, alongside Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker, once again stood tall over the best in the world. At this time, there's no word on when Punk will return to TV, but with these comments, it seems to be just a matter of time before Punk seeks to get receipts. How do you feel about Paul Heyman siding with Seth Rollins instead of staying loyal to CM Punk? Share your thoughts down in the comments section below. The introduction of the Heyman-Rollins-Breakker stable formed on Raw after WrestleMania has certainly excited fans, but what is the plan for this new group? According to Fightful Select, the faction is not intended to draw comparisons to past groups, including the Dangerous Alliance, a group previously managed by Heyman. As the new group isn't supposed to be compared to Evolution either, despite fans seeing Heyman as the past, Rollins as the present, and Breakker as the future of WWE. One source said that they agree with the idea that the new group should be one that other stables in the future get compared to, as opposed to following from a previous template. Fans have speculated on who else could join, but the plan as of WrestleMania weekend is for the group to just remain as the three men currently involved. Of course, that could always change down the line, but for now, the faction will establish their dominance over WWE as a trio. The group has already done that as Breakker speared CM Punk and Roman Reigns on the Raw after WrestleMania, and Seth Rollins had some bold words for after that show. In backstage footage, Rollins declared that "we control everything, I control everything, remember that," and Heyman was pleased to see this assertive side of the visionary. The WWE Hall of Famer claimed that the WWE now knows that Rollins controls everything and that there ain't a damn thing they can do about it. Breakker wrapped off this segment with his signature bark, and what have you made of WWE's booking of this new group so far? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments. On the April 21st edition of Raw, Rusev made his thunderous return to WWE with an assault on Alpha Academy in the Bulgarian's first appearance for WWE in 5 years. Rusev got loud cheers from fans in Las Vegas and a similar reaction backstage, as PW Insider reports that there was a warm reaction within WWE regarding Rusev's return. WWE sources also shared that a lot of talent have voiced their interest in working with Rusev down the line, showing that the locker room is fully on board with his return to the company. Rusev's return match will come next week when he faces Otis, and Rusev has claimed in a promo that he plans to target those who have lost their way and are in need of redemption. The question now is, who will Rusev go after when he's finished with Alpha Academy? A champion, an old rival, or perhaps a fresh face? Share your predictions in the comments. Sami Zayn fell victim to Seth Rollins' faction during this week's Raw after rejecting the favor presented of being sent to SmackDown with a WWE title opportunity. Instead, Zayn will remain on Raw and wants no part of the help Rollins and his crew can offer, and the attack he took has done little to extinguish the fire inside the Canadian. On Twitter, Zayn acknowledged that there is a target on his back, but said no matter what the group throws at him, he's not going anywhere and will become a world champion. Sami has yet to hold a world title on WWE's main roster, but has had a handful of opportunities in the past. But now Seth Rollins is ready to crush the dream of the underdog. Rollins was dressed in a striking blue and gold coat during Raw, and this drip didn't come cheap for the former WWE World Champion. Complex Style revealed that the coat came from the Pakistani label Rasta, and if you want to match Rollins' wardrobe, this cost will set you back $13,500. Clearly, there's no price too much for Rollins in the name of looking good, and fans can expect to see plenty of Seth Rollins, especially now that he has Heyman and Breakker by his side. But what do you think? Will Sami Zayn one day be known as a WWE World Champion, or is the underdog destined to never have that massive win? Let us know down in the comments below. During this week's Raw, it was confirmed that Pat McAfee will battle Gunther at Backlash, but the ring general is hardly sweating stepping in the ring with the Raw commentator. After the match was announced, Gunther, who is serving a suspension for last week's attack, shared emojis, making clear he found the idea of Pat giving him any trouble to be hilarious. This reaction has now lit a fire under McAfee, who pulled the tweet up during his Pat McAfee show and made his views on Gunther very clear. Pat said he's going to work on his training for the match and highlighted that he has titanium in his hand from a previous injury, gifting McAfee with a knockout punch. Pat also suggested taking a page from Gunther's playbook and using chops, but said that everyone will find out what kind of chop Pat can deliver during the Backlash showdown. McAfee acknowledged that there's a chance I get my kicked, but said he'd rather take a beating defending his friend Michael Cole than be a coward and back away from a bully. Pat McAfee versus Gunther is already shaping up to be an exciting clash, but a shocking twist might change everything. According to PW Insider, WWE Creative is reportedly planning for Ludwig Kaiser to appear at the Premium Light event and betray Gunther, potentially helping McAfee secure a huge victory. This surprise turn could set the stage for a major feud between Gunther and Kaiser down the line. Do you want to see WWE go in this direction, and are you hyped for a possible Gunther versus Kaiser showdown? Let us know in the comments. Over to WWE NXT now, as on this week's show, there was a special appearance by The Undertaker, who had a warning for NXT champion Femi. In an interview segment, the dead man acknowledged that NXT is Femi's yard for now, but said that he has some talent from WWE LFG who are looking for the spot the ruler holds. The camera showed Shiloh Hill, Anthony Luke, and Jasper Troy behind Femi, as it was clear that these three talents are the one the dead man are keeping a close eye on. An unannounced appearance by The Undertaker is certainly a nice surprise, and having him share a segment with Femi only bolsters the stock of the reigning WWE NXT champion. NXT also saw TNA World Champion Joe Hendry cross the line and appear for the Silver brand, and commentary made note that Hendry suffered a shoulder injury at TNA Rebellion. With Rebellion in mind, Hendry discussed Trick Williams, the man who attacked Joe after his successful title defense, and called Trick out to the ring. It was refreshing to see an intensity to Hendry in WWE rather than him being a popular but funny character, and he was ready to throw down with Trick Williams. What he got instead, though, was Dark State making their way through the crowd and assaulting Hendry, and the TNA World Champion couldn't overcome the 4-on-1 disadvantage. It's been rumored for some time that Trick may be the leader of the Dark State, and with the group attacking Williams' adversary, this segment only teased some kind of connection further. Williams did not emerge in this segment, showing he won't even help Hendry, a man he's teamed with before, against Dark State, a surefire sign of a new side to Trick Williams. Trick did appear during the show and all but confirmed his heel turn by calling himself Hollywood, drawing comparisons to The Rock's 2003 persona. As for Hendry, Williams referred to the TNA World Champion as local talent and called himself both the biggest star in NXT and now the biggest star in TNA wrestling. Trick once again made his case for a shot at the NXT title, and Ava came out to announce a 25-man battle royal for next week, in which the winner will challenge Femi at Battleground. Interestingly, a graphic for the match only included 23 superstars, suggesting that 2 will come from outside the Silver brand, either from WWE's main roster or from TNA Wrestling. Out of those confirmed for the match, Williams certainly appears to be the obvious favorite, as he is the biggest name in the match, followed by Ethan Page. Hopefully, the 2 surprise entrants in the Battle Royal will make this less predictable and possibly provide Femi with an unlikely challenger at the upcoming NXT PLE. At TNA Rebellion, Leon Slater was part of the Ultimate X match, and one death-defying spot had fans seriously concerned for the young wrestler. The spot saw Slater hit an insane 450 splash from the top of the Ultimate X structure onto a pile of bodies outside the ring, leaving fans concerned about a serious injury. Thankfully, Fightful Select reports that Slater appeared to be okay backstage after the spot, though he was unsuccessful in capturing the X Division Championship. Slater grabbed the gold, but Moose charged up and speared him out of midair before claiming the gold, meaning that the X Division title did not change hands. Though Moose was the victor, Slater's spot was the big talking point from this match, and on Twitter, NXT's Jordynne Grace weighed in on what transpired. Grace said that the higher, heavier, or faster someone is falling, the harder it is for others to catch them, and said there is a high risk of injury to those trying to catch someone falling. This led to a flurry of responses, with some questioning if Grace was arguing that the wrestlers shouldn't have tried to catch Slater, and the Juggernaut later deleted her tweet. In a follow-up, Grace said no, she wasn't saying don't catch him, but argued that these are the factual risks that talent should be made aware of for a spot like this. Grace said that wrestlers often forget to take into account the risks when agreeing to spots, but said she deleted her post to stop people thinking she said Slater shouldn't have been caught. Grace's response sparked a lot of talk, but what did you think of Leon Slater's dive? Was it too dangerous, even for pro wrestling? Share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Back to NXT, as during the main event, Women's World Champion Io Sky returned to the brand to team with Jordynne Grace and face Roxanne Perez and Julia. Sky got the win over Perez, and while this was a great match, it still seems likely that Sky and Rhea Ripley versus Perez and Julia will come down the line. Before then, though, next week's NXT will see Julia battle Grace in singles action, with the winner earning an NXT Women's title match with Stephanie Vaquer for Battleground. Ricky Saints retained the NXT North American Championship against Lexis King in NXT's first match of the night, and the pair demonstrated a solid chemistry in the ring. While King was unsuccessful in his match, this was a contest NXT should consider revisiting, perhaps at a premium live event if the story is right. Tony D'Angelo was back on NXT and looked devastated with what had gone down at Stand and Deliver and the actions of Channing Stacks Lorenzo. D'Angelo shared that Adriana Rizzo had been placed into hiding, and it was on last week's show that a segment showed that Rizzo had been taken to a safe house. While Rizzo is safe, the Don shared that nobody has heard from Luca Crucifino, hinting that Stacks brought an end to Luca in the desert during last week's show. Stacks appeared in a video from a bridge and claimed that D'Angelo wasn't fit to lead the family and tried to sow dissent, asking Tony who he can trust anymore. Security guards sent out by Stacks tried to attack D'Angelo, but it was the Don who stood tall, and Tony ended by telling Stacks he has to show up if he wants to become the Don. This is a story with a lot of layers and potential outcomes, including what kind of route Crucifino will play when he inevitably returns to programming. There's also the question of Rizzo, who spoke last week about a relationship with Stacks, and there's a question as to whether she'll remain loyal to the Don or her other half. There was a production botch during NXT as the camera cut to a group in the crowd, and while they were clearly some notable names, the production team didn't put up a name graphic. During Carmen Petrovich's entrance, the group were once again shown, and yet again no name was given, leaving fans at home wondering who these people even were. Petrovich didn't just have her entrance hijacked, but also came up short against Sol Ruca, and after the match, Petrovich attacked Ashanti Adonis, seemingly ending their relationship for good. This wasn't the only breakup during this week's show, though, as 1 week after Noam Dar returned to WWE to win the Heritage Cup, Metaphor agreed to split up. This was certainly a shock for fans, and not only did it seem like the group was splitting up, but it was suggested that the Meta Girls would also no longer be a team. Given the apparent lack of actual women's tag teams in WWE, many had predicted the pair would be called up as a duo, especially as fans have already seen the girls on the main roster. In a tease of a breakup, Zarya was seen giving some serious side-eye to Sol Ruca when the Women's North American Champion was backstage, teasing that Zaruka's days may be numbered. Zarya has yet to hold gold in WWE and was part of the ladder match during which Ruca won the gold, and is this setting up for a heel turn and a title match? Only time will tell. Hank and Tank retained their NXT Tag Team Championships against Josh Briggs and Inamura, and in a backstage segment, Tease teaming with Joe Hendry against Dark State. This will prove to be an interesting pairing of three naturally over talents, and fans can't count out the NXT Tag Champs appearing for TNA as part of this pairing. Chase U officially made its return during this week's NXT with a classroom segment, and it was great to see the faction back, albeit with new students. The decision to end Chase U last year was never a popular one, and now WWE is doing what it can to right the ship and bring the faction back to TV. Shawn Spears wasn't angry at the culling despite the faction coming up short in its recent goals, and instead wanted to motivate the group to achieve their dreams. This was another solid promo for the group that has a compelling vibe, but now it is time that the faction starts picking up wins or risk falling into the realms of fodder for bigger stars. And that was this week's NXT, and what did you make of the show? Let us know in the comments section down below. On last week's SmackDown, Zelina Vega captured the Women's United States title, marking her first taste of singles gold in her WWE career. PW Insider reports that personnel were legitimately surprised when Zelina Vega scored the win, as the title switch was kept tightly under wraps until it happened, and according to PW Insider, many backstage were genuinely happy for Vega, especially since her victory came on the same show as her husband Aleister Black's WWE return. Black's return also meant he could be there to see her big moment in question, and a singles title win is something fans have been hoping to see for Vega for many years. Now Vega is the second ever Women's US Champion, and we'll have to see how she's booked as champion in the coming weeks and months. During the WrestleMania 41 recap, Karrion Kross stunned fans with his rant about being left off the card as well as other issues, leaving audiences to debate if it was a shoot or a work. The answer, according to Sean Ross Sapp, is both, as though the segment did weave in some storyline beats, what Kross had to say wasn't scripted and all came from him. Sapp added that after the promo, multiple WWE talents reached out to Kross to thank him, praising the promo as well as him raising legitimate criticisms with WWE. Kross is known backstage as being very easy to work with and ambitious creatively, and after the response this promo received, perhaps we'll be seeing a bigger role for Kross soon enough. Now, Jeff Jarrett has made clear that he is on the final leg of his wrestling career, but as of late, the WWE Hall of Famer has had his share of issues with a certain ex-AEW World Champion. On his My World podcast, Jeff took issue with MJF and shared that his recent frustrations during a promo on Collision weren't just a part of the show. He said, "There was a lot of reality in that. Lots of shreds of reality," he said. "I'm super disappointed that I got myself in this position. I can't tell you how many times I've rethought agreeing on certain levels to certain things." When looking at what's happening with his career, Jarrett didn't hold back from pointing the finger of blame at MJF, as he said, "MJF, ever since he got involved in anything that had to do with myself, has turned into absolute shit." Jarrett revealed that before their segments, he has given warnings to MJF before criticizing the demeanor of the young wrestler who has established himself as a top AEW star. He said, "I said, hey man, you're gonna say what you want to say, and if you want to go in the gutter, I don't want to go there. It's not good for me, good for you, good for the product." He did that. There's not one talent that has been involved with MJF. He always leaves everyone worse than when he started. I think he's toxic. I think he's selfish. He's got a boatload of talent. I don't think he was any good for my career on any level. I think he got me off on a wrong track. The MJF situation was a massive mistake on so many levels. Despite his issues with MJF, Jarrett isn't ready to hang up his boots just yet and referred to his ally Jay Lethal as an incredible talent, while Satnam Singh is truly one in a billion. Double J ended by teasing taking control of his own creative direction in AEW as he said, "We'll see where this thing goes. You can turn things around and get back on track if given the opportunity, so that's kind of the mindset, to get the right opportunity." Jarrett had plenty to say, and do you agree that MJF is toxic and brings others down? And what would you like to see from Jeff before he retires for good? Let us know in the comments. And we're ending today with Cope, who returned from retirement in 2020, but now the Rated R superstar is considering leaving the ring once again. Appearing on First Up with Korolnek and Koliakovo, Cope was open to the fact that his career is winding down, and when asked how long he'll wrestle, he said, "Not much longer." Cope shared that the days of him having 200 wrestling dates a year are over as his body takes longer to recover, and now it takes him a week before he can walk normally after a match. Cope shared that he has until he's 53 when his current AEW contract expires and believes he'll call it a day and walk away from the ring while he still can. Copeland will turn 53 in October of next year, which lines up with the end of his current AEW deal, meaning fans seemingly have just 18 months to enjoy the Canadian in the ring.